she's going to be crippled for the rest of her life. And I have a 25-year sentence. I'm going to be serving 15 years behind bars. I graduated from the University of Rhode Island. I earned a business degree. I had a double major in marketing and finance. I took school very seriously. When I was your age, I didn't get in a lot of trouble or anything. You know, I wasn't an angel either, but I was a pretty good kid, and I took school seriously. After I got out of college, I got a job with a leading mutual fund financial services company. I worked for this company for 8 years, ever since I got out of college, up until the time of my accident. I was climbing myself up the corporate ladder. At the time, I was a senior manager. I was a couple steps from becoming a vice president, which was a goal of mine when I started my career. I was still very young. Everything was within my grasp. Me and my fiance, we were in the process. We were going to be buying a house down in Narragansett by the ocean. That was going to be happening pretty soon. And we wanted to start a family as soon as we got married. We wanted to have kids right off the bat. So basically, I was very happy with my life. Everything was just wonderful. And then this is when I made the worst decision of my life. I was 30 years old when this accident happened, but it really started when I was your age, this bad choice, because that's when I first got behind the wheel of a car after I had something to drink. And I just it went along in my life. Nothing ever happened, right? I was all right. So that's when the real bad choice really started, right when I was your age. I know what you're doing. Me and my buddies, we would get alcohol somehow, you know. We'd get it from our parents. We'd have an older brother go buy it for us. We knew the liquor stores that sold it to you. We knew all that. And I know you guys know that too. And we used to drink, you know, not all the time. I used to drink just on the weekends with my buddies. It just seemed to be the thing to do. Everyone was doing it. My friends were doing it. No big deal. It's part of growing up, really. That's how I looked at it, at least. Does any of this sound familiar to anybody? Yeah?
Peer pressure plays a lot into people getting caught up into the prison system. Now, one of the things we advise them to do is to talk to elders, their parents, older people in the community who can help and guide them, because most of the time when they talk to their own peers, they have just as much experience of life as they do.
Now, the main thing that I want to hit on you with is friends. That's what I'm going to talk about. Boys, girls, whatever you want to call it. How many of you guys got friends in here you hold dear to your heart? Now, if I'm not mistaken, that friend, you'll ride or die with him, right? You'll go wherever they got to go. If she calls you right now and says, "Joe, I need you. You going to come?" You're going to come, right? All right. That's how me and my boy was. Me and my boy, I mean, we did everything together. There wasn't one thing that didn't happen where I didn't follow him. When we came to prison, we had the same mentality. Everything we did, one was going to follow. Now I'm trying to make better on myself. I have a son who's 3 years old and he doesn't have his father right now. So now my whole basis is on him and my stepdaughter. That's all I have. You understand? I don't have no friends. The people that I turn my back on, which is my mother, because my mother loves me to death and she's been with me since day one. My father, who's a hard-working man and been doing the same thing for 30 years. Them are the two people that are there for me when I need a visit, when I need somebody to call, when my son needs sneakers or something like that. They're the ones that are providing for him. You understand what I'm saying? These are the same people that I didn't want to listen to. When I was your age, my mother said, "Boy, you better come in the house at 9 o'clock. I'd be like, "Ah, Ma, whatever. I'm not listening to you right now. I'm trying to go out here and hang with my boys." I see myself in a lot of you, because you got to remember, at one time in our lives, we was all, you know, we was aspiring to be something in life. We didn't wake up one day and say we're going to be a criminal. You understand? I didn't wake up one day and say, "You know what, I'm going to go out tonight and I'm going to shoot somebody." That wasn't in my train of thought. I didn't wake up one day and say, "I'm going to go to prison so I can get a scar across my face for the rest of my life and I can explain to everybody who loves me what happened to me." Now, my mama had to come, and she was the first one to see my face. Now, I love my mother, you know, and don't get me wrong, she's my world. But the worst part of my life, the one thing that affected me more than anything, was her sitting across from me at the table, and she had to look at my face and say, "What did they do to my baby? What did I do? What did I do to make you come into this place? Where did I go wrong?" My mother didn't do anything wrong. It was a decision that I made years ago that set me to where I am now.
when your parents have something to say, listen to them. Because you know what? If you do not listen, you're going to end up here just like we are.
The inmate story that comes up with me that touches home is the story of an inmate who was driving while he was drunk and he ended up killing his best friend. And this usually touches home. One night he was out partying with his friends and they had one too many to drink. They ended up getting into the car. They started driving home. The driver lost control, hit a tree, killed his best friend. This inmate says he's got no problem doing time in prison. The biggest thing is that he knows he killed his best friend. He's got to live with that the rest of his life. Well, it took him 1 second to make that decision. It affected the rest of his life and the loved ones around him. The biggest misconception of prison life is it's not like summer camp. It's not a status quo, as we call it. You don't go outside, play basketball. You don't leave your cell when you feel like it. You don't party.